All right, today we are cracking open a real case file. This is a story about chronic pain, something that, let's be honest, affects so many of us. We're going to play body detective and follow an investigation into a golfer's career-threatening injury. And what we find? Well, it uncovers a secret our bodies are trying to tell us every single day. The place that hurts? That's often just the victim, not the real culprit.
So here's the problem. Right out of the gate, we've got a dedicated golfer, and his left side, specifically his oblique muscle, just seizes up. And we're not talking about a small ache. This thing is actively sabotaging his game. It gets tighter with every swing. It's throwing his whole body off balance. This is the mystery we're setting out to solve. And here it is. This is the question that changes everything. Because it's so easy to just focus on the area that's screaming at you, right? But our practitioner, Claire, she had a hunch. She suspected that the oblique wasn't the criminal here. It was the victim. And this, right here, is where the real investigation begins. Okay, so let's meet the man at the center of this mystery, David. He's 45, a pro-am golfer, and this sport is his life. He's out there playing several times a week. But this nagging pain in his left side has gone from being just a frustration to a serious roadblock. We're talking something that could actually end his competitive career.
So let's break this down because it's really important to separate the feeling from the fallout. The symptom, yeah, it's that constant nagging tightness in his left oblique. But the impact, that's where the real story is. This isn't just about pain, it's a fundamental breakdown of his golf swing, creating this destabilizing imbalance that he can feel in every single movement.
To find the real bad guy, the investigation has to zoom out. We're looking at the body's kinetic chain. Just think of it like a massive, interconnected network of muscles and joints. A good detective knows you never just look at the crime scene, in this case, the painful oblique. You have to search the whole network for clues. And what do you know? The first clues immediately suggest this is a conspiracy. Clue number 1. His upper body can barely rotate. For a golfer, that's a huge problem. Clue 2. The nerve signals all along his left side are, well, they're weak. And clue 3, this is a big one. While his left oblique is super tight, his right side is working overtime. You see the pattern here? One side is basically locked up and weak, so the other side is freaking out, trying to compensate.
So, with the clues pointing to this much bigger imbalance, the investigation moves down the kinetic chain. The focus shifts away from his upper body and goes straight to the engine of all rotational power, the hips and pelvis. And this, my friends, is where things get really interesting.
And boom, a massive clue. During a simple butterfly stretch, David's right hip can only open to 45 degrees. Now, to put that in perspective, that is majorly restricted. It's like a giant red flag popping up, pointing away from his torso and straight down towards his hips.
And this one discovery just unlocks the rest of the puzzle. The new evidence starts rolling in. His right hip flexors are incredibly tight. His right glute is way tighter and less flexible than his left. And suddenly, it all just clicks. The real problem isn't the screaming left oblique at all. The evidence is pointing to a crime that's originating in his right hip. Okay, so it is time for the big reveal. All these things, the limited trunk rotation, the compensating core, that super tight right hip, they're not separate clues. They are all threads in the same story, and they point directly to a set of very unexpected culprits.
In this slide right here, this says it all. The victim, the muscle that was screaming in pain, was the left oblique. But the real culprits, the actual source of the entire problem, were on the complete opposite side of his body. We're talking tight right hip flexors, imbalanced glutes, and these restricted lines of tissue connecting everything together.
So you're probably asking, how in the world can a tight right hip cause left side pain? The answer is this amazing thing called the spiral fascial line. I want you to imagine a band of connective tissue, kind of like a big rubber band, that wraps diagonally all the way around your body. It connects your right hip to your left shoulder. For a golfer, this is the engine for your swing. So what happens if the anchor at your hip is completely locked down? Well, something's got to give. That whole band gets yanked, and in David's case, his poor left oblique was taking all of that strain. So with the culprits finally identified, our practitioner, Claire, could put together a really clear hypothesis. This wasn't just a simple case of a strained muscle. No way. This was a systems problem, a total breakdown in the body's incredibly complex and interconnected machinery.
And here's her conclusion, straight from the file. The pain was from compensatory overuse patterns. So what does that actually mean in plain English? It means David's left oblique was just working itself to death, desperately trying to create the rotation his body needed for a golf swing, all because his tight right hip and those sticky fascia lines weren't doing their job. It was compensating, and it was paying a heavy price.
So how do you solve a problem like this? You don't just treat the victim. You have to go after the culprits. And the solution was a super systematic 10-session plan designed to do one thing: fix the root cause and bring balance back to the whole system.
And the logic of this plan is just brilliant. You can't just start trying to strengthen a dysfunctional system. It won't work. First, you see, in sessions 1 to 3, they focus on resetting and releasing the problem area, the hips. Then, in sessions 4 to 6, they can start to lengthen those muscles and wake up those fascial lines. And only after that foundation is set do they move to performance, retraining the golf swing before a final check-in. It is a masterclass in fixing the cause, not just chasing the symptom.
The actual techniques they used were just as targeted. Notice what's missing? Endless crunches for that left oblique? Of course. Instead, the plan focuses on the real bad guys. They use techniques like nerve flossing, which is kind of like gently untangling a stuck nerve, and deep work to unlock those hip flexors. And crucially, they focused on neural re-education, which is like rebooting the whole system to teach the oblique and the glute how to talk to each other and work as a team again. And this all brings us to the final and most important takeaway. David's story is such a powerful reminder that pain is just a signal. It's the alarm bell, but it doesn't always tell you where the fire is. So the next time you feel some kind of persistent ache or pain, ask yourself the same question our body detective did. What if this isn't the problem, but just the victim? What hidden imbalance could your body be trying to tell you about?